Thanks for staying with us. All right, we're going to start with the nation. Urami 14, more outrage over killings. Fear of renewed hostilities grips Ifon, Ilubu communities. Use $4 trillion assets to attract FDI, NESG, urges federal government. Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso slam 0.5% import levy on Nigeria and others. Sovereign Investment Authority declares 3.7 trillion profit. And picture story here of the Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, sending greetings to his boss, Mr. President. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Okay, so the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, NESG, has urged the federal government to unlock the nation's estimated $4 trillion in bankable assets to attract foreign direct investments and drive economic growth. Its Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Taya Aduloju, gave the advice in Abuja during the launch of the group's 2025 macroeconomic outlook report. He stated that Nigeria holds significant investment potential, but legal, regulatory, and policy constraints continue to obstruct economic opportunities. He also stated that it's important that, you know, that in terms of FDI, that Nigeria sits on 4 trillion worth of assets that are bankable, but that the gridlocked by legal and regulatory policies is causing a bottleneck around that. So he's stating that Nigeria's strategic sovereignty and autonomy depend on returning to 5.5% or 6% GDP growth rates, and that this would also enable investors to come in, attract investors to come in if we can de-risk the national assets that we have. So I think he's making a point, but I think that's still a long haul to go get back to 5.5 or 6% GDP per capita. But let's see, miracles happen.
All right, so I have the story concerning revenue-generating agencies owing the federal government about 9.3 trillion naira. Now, this was said by the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative. They made this disclosure in their 2023 industry report, which was highlighting financial discrepancies in the nation's extractive sector. Now, according to its executive secretary, Oji Obunaya Oji, who spoke at a press briefing on the implementation of the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative in Nigeria, he said the unremitted funds actually accounts for approximately 72% of the projected 13 trillion budget deficit for 2025, underscoring the urgent need for accountability in revenue collection. Although these figures represent a decline from the 2021 report, NEITI noted that the outstanding obligations remain a critical concern given the government's budgetary needs for 2025. So here we are crying and saying the budget isn't enough, and you know, revenue generating agencies aren't remitting what they should, and so it's a tough situation to be in, and we continue to look for funds as a nation.
So the Chief of Staff has greeted his boss, saying, he said quite a bit of things, greeting for his 73rd birthday celebration, and one of the things that caught my attention was where he said that too many people who participate in public service are not there to make history, but to be where history is made, standing as observers, to chronicle and ridicule, and ultimately to fade into obscurity. Indeed, you personify the marked difference between a politician who only thinks about the next election, but actually a leader who thinks about the next generation. And he was just greeting him on his 73rd birthday, wishing him the best, and saying that he has expressed himself excellently and he has provided diligent service to the highest good, for the highest good. And he said quite a bit of things, but a lot of people were celebrating the president over the weekend for his birthday, 73rd birthday, and lots of accolades to him, and congratulations again to Mr. President for his 73rd birthday party.
Yeah. So I have the story about the coalition that has broken away from ECOWAS. So they call themselves Alliance of Sahel States. That's Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. They all are being ruled by the military, and the military junta there first created this coalition to sort of like support each other in fighting insecurity, but now they are morphing it into an economic bloc. They are sort of like saying they might be considering having a unified passport among the Alliance for Sahel States, and they have placed a tariff. You know, in the world of tariff, American president has started tariff, so they now put a 0.5% tariff on all import duties, even within ECOWAS. Usually, goods and services move in and out within the ECOWAS space. They broke away from ECOWAS, but the ECOWAS system has still honored their passport and all of that. Now, they said that any goods, service, anything, any imported product, now we are imported products. Any product moving from Nigeria, other countries in the ECOWAS, to these three countries, Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, will also be taxed 0.5% as a way to fund their coalition, their alliance. That's the reason for that thing. They also have, Niger has also pulled out from the joint force. So there's a particular joint military force that has been supporting Nigeria's fight within that Lake Chad region. They call it the Military Joint Task Force. It also includes international support. But Niger has pulled out, and we know that there's been a lot of insecurity challenges of Boko Haram and ISWAP between the Lake Chad into Borno East. So we are saying, they're saying now that it's going to be even more at risk when Niger, who is the landmass that handles this thing, are now pulling out from the military joint force. This is going to have impact.
More headache for our president.
But ECOWAS said they are open to conversation, which is a good thing.
Let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.